The owl, or should I call him the entity? I don't really care. However, though, the owl is probably the second most creepiest character in 99 Nights in the Forest. Also, guys, I'm sorry if I sound a little crappy. I caught what my daughter had, the flu. Poor thing. And yeah, I know what you're saying. My voice sounds a little bit crappy and disgusting, and I should be recording a YouTube video right now, but as long as I can't see you guys or interact with you in any way, then that's fine by me. But don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna have this for long. I'm gonna be able to go to the doctor later to get it all checked out. But until the cops give me my license back, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. So we do know a couple of things, one of them being that we can find a lot of lore on the owl in the snow biome. You see here in the snow biome, the creature is being called the entity on this whiteboard. So we do know a couple of things. The entity hates sudden movements, it's hungry, and it's somehow connected to the ice temple, which can also be found in the snow biome. So what exactly is this entity? Because it sure as hell ain't no ordinary owl. However, though, before we can try to answer that question, we do know a couple of things. Like, for example, we do know that the owl has existed a lot longer than the deer, which we are going to explain that in a little bit. We also do know that the deer is very terrified of the entity because in this cutscene where the deer is going to feed off the polar bears, it noticed some owl feathers, and then we hear the owl screech before the deer flees for its life.
And sit down.
And I mean, I already explained most of the story in my Robloxian Stories episode on the True Story 99 Nights of the Forest and on my Roblox history of the deer. Yet, again, if you actually look at this whiteboard, it will point you to an ice temple, which could be found in the snow biome, somewhere deep in the snow biome, I want to believe. And if you go inside the ice temple, it would look like that there was a strange ritual. And judging by all the frozen cultists and other frozen shit, the ritual was a success, but the scientists kind of made a big mistake. To all of you who think this stuff isn't important, well, it actually is, because unlike the deer, it wasn't formed by the scientists. It was formed by a strange ritual, possibly many centuries ago. So, in conclusion, the mom is just trying to protect her children, but when she finally gets to the children, they don't recognize her at all. And that's basically the struggle the mom has to deal with. But yet, this would explain this cutscene where the deer is terrified of the owl. Because while she is quite powerful herself, but yet she's still part human and was created by scientists. Meanwhile, the owl was summoned by a ritual. But also, the scientists aren't the only people who are researching this owl creature. Somewhere deep in the forest, you can find this NPC called the Birdwatcher, where if you give her feathers, she will give you fuel for your campfire. So let's begin in chronological order what I believe to be the lore of 99 Nights in the Forest, at least so far. We start off with the Ice Temple, where the entity was summoned many years ago. So because of this, the military would get involved, as sometimes we could find some military buildings and other shit. Meanwhile, scientists would go to explore the entity and wonder where exactly it came from. The scientists would also be able to build some science buildings somewhere around the map, as sometimes you could find them, and they began to experiment with other animals such as wolves and bears. But they were not able to replicate the summoning of the entity until the children arrived. You see, 99 Nights in the Forest is based on a true story. It says so at the beginning of the game. And yeah, it's actually based on the true story of the 4 real-life children who had to survive for 40 days in the Amazon rainforest. Now, we all know that in the plane, there were 4 children, the pilots, and also the children's mother. Now, why am I talking about the true story of 99 Nights in the Forest, I hear you asking? Well, that's what happens in the game as well. In the game, yes, you can actually find a crashed plane. And this is actually where the 4 children came from. The entity would regularly feed on wolves, bears, and even sometimes people. Basically, summoning this entity was, how do I put it, a mistake. Because of this, the military would get involved, as we can sometimes find some military bases around the map, while scientists would start exploring this owl. They knew it was powerful, but they didn't exactly know where it came from. Sorry guys, we are way off topic. Where are the children's mother? Well, what if I were to tell you that their mom is actually alive? Their mom is the creepy deer creature. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. The deer is actually the mom in 99 Nights in the Forest. If you go into the science building, you'll notice that there isn't just one testing table, but there's two. One for the deer, the other for the mom. But at least that's what I believe. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to drop them in the comments section below. So guys, no one has been able to take the 2 signed copies of the novel The Antiheroes. So if you want to participate, I would do it now. Anyway guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.